Good morning, everyone. It is the Sunday of Pentecost today, and as you can see, our colors have changed. And one of the things that I really enjoy for Pentecost is decorating the church. And since I couldn't do that this year, I decorated the room a little bit. And another thing that I really love to do on Pentecost is Fly the Dove. As you know, the last 2 weeks, Miss Lauren and I have been sharing a story called Knowing Jesus in a New Way. And we have learned or heard lots of different ways that we know Jesus. We began in the very beginning with knowing Jesus in his absence. And you know, the disciples had gone into the tomb and they did not find his body, but they could feel his presence. Just like sometimes we can feel his presence, even though he is not here with us. And then we heard how Jesus is known in the breaking of the bread. And we know this as we break bread and have communion in church. Jesus was known in doubt when Thomas did not believe that he had come back to life until he saw him. And then Jesus said, "Blessed are those who do not see but believe." Jesus was known in doubt. And then Jesus was known in the morning. When the disciples had gone down to the Sea of Galilee, they could not catch any fish. They had fished all night. And this person on the beach told them to throw their nets on the other side, and they caught so many fish they could hardly drag them back in. And then they recognized that it was he, it was Jesus. He was known in the morning. And then Jesus was known in making him known. By now, his disciples had gotten used to knowing him in a new way. And just before he left them for the one final time, he told them what he expected them to do when he was gone. It was sort of an overwhelming task. He was known in making him known. And then he was known in waiting. Jesus had told his disciples before he went away to wait for him in Jerusalem. And so they went there, and they waited, and they waited. Jesus' disciples were waiting in Jerusalem, and waited and waited. But finally, it was the day of Pentecost, the Shavuot, as it is known in Hebrew. It was springtime, and everything was green and growing, and the grain was ripe in the fields. And the city of Jerusalem was full of Jews from all over the Roman Empire. They had come there to remember those special times between Passover and when God gave Moses the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. The disciples were waiting in a room. Some say it was the very room where he shared his Last Supper with Jesus. And as they waited, suddenly the room was filled with a mighty wind, and it was as if there were flames of fire over their heads, and their tongues felt like they were on fire. And they rushed out into the streets to tell everyone what had happened. And even though everyone was speaking in different languages, somehow they could understand. People thought they were drunk. But then Peter stepped forward, and he spoke in such a calm and confident way. They had never quite seen him like that before. And he said, "These men are not drunk. It is only morning. No, what is happening is what the prophet Joel said would happen, that God would send his Holy Spirit down among us, and our sons and daughters would prophesy, and the young would have visions, and the old would dream dreams." That is what is happening here. Now some people passed on by and continued their own customs and traditions and lived good lives. But others stayed and listened and were baptized. And so, for Pentecost, we use the color red, the color of joy, but also the color of fire. The Holy Spirit that came down upon Jesus when he was baptized was probably looking down and smiling on this day, because this was a kind of baptism, not a baptism with water, but a baptism with fire. I wonder what you would bring to this story. I selected our red box that has the Pentecost story in it too. But I also brought all of these decorations that look like the tongues of fire, and our dove, which is a symbol of the Holy Spirit. I wonder how you liked this story. I hope to see everyone soon. I hope you have a good Pentecost day and celebrate. See you soon. Bye.